computer. Okay, so I think we can officially begin. Um, Thank you all again so much for being here. My name is Barona. I think I know a lot of you, but I manage our volunteer program at We Don't Waste, and I'll be sharing a little bit more later. But we have staff from 3 different organizations here tonight, so maybe I'll pass it over first to other We Don't Waste staff, and then we can move to the other organizations.
Hi, most of you guys might know me, or if not, my name is Kim. I am the food access coordinator. I help with check-in at markets, especially since I'm bilingual myself. I help a lot with the Spanish interpretation as well. And then whoever's next.
I'll go next. I'm Jana Clark. I'm with WeCycle. I get to manage a lot of our programs and then go to markets. Unfortunately, only when people get sick or can't go. So I love being able to go to markets and see how they've been growing.
Hi guys, I'm Emily with WeCycle. I know some of you. And I am the partnerships and volunteer coordinator for WeCycle.
I can go next. I'm Catherine Compitello. I'm with Plentiful. Nice to meet you all today.
Wait, so we will share a little bit more about what each of these organizations do in relation to the markets and our check-in process. So as you can see on the agenda, we'll share some background information about We Don't Waste and WeCycle and Plentiful. We'll talk about why justice and data collection are important to us. And then Catherine will take us through the really important part of training you all on how to check in a mobile food market participant at our markets. And then lastly, I will show you how to sign up specifically for these Spanish speaking check-in volunteer shifts on our website. And then we'll open it up for questions. And then that's pretty much it. So I'm going to pass it over to Kim to share some background information with you all.
As you may all know, our mobile food markets, which we have 6 locations, is basically a food pantry that we go to different neighborhoods throughout Denver, tackling, and one in Aurora, where we're tackling food insecurity and food deserts, and we help bring the community come and get food from us. And it's more also like a flea market type of style markets, with along with WeCycle, an unsettling prospect that many fear. Who's also comes to all our markets, give out diapers, formula, and also baby supplies. But yeah, with the language justice, why it's important to us, as many of you know, we're having an increased number of migrants coming to Colorado, and a lot of them being um, a lot of them speaking Spanish as well. So it is important for us to seek a lot of people speaking Spanish, not just for one, so that we can also communicate, and just also for them to also feel welcomed at our mobile food markets, and that they're welcome to come and get food and they're comfortable with us around. As well as not just Spanish speakers, but we are seeing more people speaking Farsi and a lot of them speaking French. So this is just a little step for us to start getting little by little, just everybody feeling welcome, and just to make sure, that we're not excluding anybody just because, they speak a different language. Well, that's just, that's the background for mobile food markets and the language from my part. We'll go to WeCycle.
All right, I will speak about WeCycle. So WeCycle is a nonprofit that supports families with infants and toddlers all across Colorado. We have multiple programs, one of which we take in gently used baby gear and get it out to families. And then another big one we have is our diaper program, getting diapers, wipes, and formula out to families all across Colorado. We do this, one of the ways is at these mobile markets. So we join We Don't Waste right alongside them and hand out diapers, wipes, and formula to families coming through. We are able to bring large amounts, truckloads full of diapers due to grants that we get. That's the main way that we do. We do have diapers get donated, but not at that level. So because a lot of them are purchased and they're purchased through grants, it is very important for us to get our data. So that's one thing that Plentiful is really helping us with, and the wonderful volunteers that go through and help sign up families. We really need the data in order to continue to bring all the diapers, wipes, and formula that we're able to bring. So, Jana, did I miss anything?
No, it sounds great. And I always tell people like no one really likes doing data, but it is crucial to so many of nonprofits funding. So thank you all for being here and learning how to do this and treating people with dignity and making sure they have what they need to support their families. It's great.
We like data. That's why we do what we do. We like you guys having good data, actually, I should say. That's what's important to us. Brona, would you like me to jump in for the plentiful section? Okay, great. Hey everyone, I'm Catherine. I'm with Plentiful. I'm gonna show you a demo here in a moment. Actually, you're gonna watch two demo videos for how to use Plentiful. This is the first time we're training folks virtually, so I just had an idea of a better way to do it than how I'm gonna do it. So just bear with us. If you have questions as I'm going, drop them in the chat. I'm here to make sure you know what we do, and how we do it, so that you can feel really comfortable using Plentiful when you're volunteering at a We Don't Waste market. And huge gratitude to We Don't Waste and WeCycle for the work that they do, and all of you volunteers. It's a really important part of our Denver community, and we're honored to help support the work. So Plentiful has two tools that we use to help folks who are going to food pantries get what they need, and then help food pantries and organizations like WeCycle capture the information that they need to about those services, so that they can continue to do their work well and get grants and what have you. One of the tools is called Plentiful, and it's for people who are food insecure, and it's available on iOS, Android, the web, or SMS. It's in 9 languages. We're not going to demo that one today, but you should know that it exists. You can test it out yourself if you go to the App Store, or if you text the word food to pantry, you'll get to experience the SMS version of it. And I encourage all volunteers to do that, because it's nice to see how somebody who, a visitor to a We Don't Waste market, it's nice to see what Plentiful looks like for them, but it's a different experience than what it is for a volunteer at a food pantry. So the volunteer at a food pantry tool is the one that you should all become familiar with, and we're going to do a couple of demo videos today to help you orient yourself how to use it. You don't need to worry about downloading an app or going to creating a login. That's the job of We Don't Waste. So We Don't Waste, when you arrive at a mobile market to volunteer, they're going to give you a device, either a phone or a tablet, that has Plentiful on it and has an account on it. And you don't even need to worry about how to log in. They'll do that for you. The downside to that is that you can't play around with it before you get to the market, but that's okay. All right, let me share my screen here. Can you see like a green rectangle looking thing in a video? Okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. There's music on this, but there's no like voiceover. So you should hear like a elevator music, but no words. And I'm going to play, it's about a 2.5 minute video.
We don't hear the music, Catherine, but I think it's fine.
Are we gonna get to see this later? Because I can't read that fast.
We can definitely either play it again and we will email it out to everybody.
Cool. I'm sorry you can hear the music. I can hear the music. But it is just like elevator music. And yes, we can definitely send this to Verona. You can just send it to everybody who signed up or showed up or all your volunteers. One thing I can do, there's a second video that I want to show you as well. But one thing I can do is I just want to walk through a couple of really high level points here just to make sure folks caught what we just talked through and or what you just watched, and then we can also play it again. So when you get the device from We Don't Waste, there it'll already be logged in. You're gonna click on the next service and then confirm that the day and time is correct for the market that you're at, and add a visitor. And then a lot of people are already going to be in the system. Many people at We Don't Waste markets are repeat visitors, and so you just search for the person. I think what's like really important to call out here is when you get new visitors, people who've never come to a We Don't Waste before, making sure that you collect that you're going to create a profile for them. And when you create the profile for them, the required information is phone, email address, first and last name, zip code, and their preferred language. The preferred language is really important for our end so that when we send out messages or We Don't Waste sends out messages, it arrives to them in their language, if it's one of the 9 that we have today. And we also like to confirm household size. And then the other really important thing is the baby supplies that for every visitor who comes to a We Don't Waste market, that you just ask them, even if it doesn't look like they might need baby supplies, but just everybody who walks through to say, do you need baby supplies today? And if the answer is no, then there's no action needed. And if the answer is yes, then you want to record that in the system. Would it be helpful if I played it one more time? Before I play it, does anyone have any questions that they want to ask about what you just saw?
Just to verify, the number on the back of the ticket that they get is the number of children that need supplies. Is that correct?
Yes. So
we've had some people come. I've been mostly doing the, giving away of the food, and they will come through and show that ticket with that number to us as proof of how many families they're collecting for. And since we weren't trained in the registration process, we didn't know that it's supposed to be the baby count. So I was just confused there. That's just for little children.
This is just for baby supplies. This ticket goes to there's a We Cycle tent where the baby's diapers are. This ticket is for that.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I have
two questions rated out. So you're given, We Cycle will give you these, raffle tickets, like a spool of them and a marker, and you write them as you're checking folks in.
If someone comes and they're collecting for more than one family, do you check both families in?
Yes, you do. That is, sorry, I can't, that is here. So yes, so it's, I don't know, there's probably a handful each market where this is the case, where you have a family picking for another family. And then you just would add another profile for that other family. And they won't always know all of the information, but just collect as much as you can.
Okay. And what if we have additional services at a market like pet food?
We don't collect any information today about anything beyond what you saw in this video, and then TFAP, which we'll get to in a moment.
I can
Okay.
answer that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
go
so
ahead, Kim.
for Bruce Market's first Tuesday where Pet Pantry comes in. Pet Pantry actually does their own registration. So if anybody asks for pet food or anything, just directing to one of the Pet Pantry people. And then going back to registering for more families, the rule we have is that they can sign up for more than 5 families, or no, up to 5 families, no more than 5.
Okay, thank you. That was my other question because I was at a pantry a couple days ago and a person said they had 4 families and the volunteer challenged and said, really? I worked here for 2 years. I've never seen anybody collecting for 4 families. And I felt really uncomfortable because I felt like we should be taking them at their word and not saying, are you lying to us? So again, this is the kind of, I mean, I was trained, months ago, but I don't remember these things being covered. So this is really good information.
Yeah, you can for sure add it on there. And then during the training, the day of the market as well.
We'll
I would-
update this slide so it's clear that up to 5 families, if that's the rule, Kim.
Yes, that'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
I would also note that if they're registering for multiple families, you can give a ticket for each family that needs diaper supplies, just so that you're not writing a whole bunch of different numbers on one tiny ticket. And then, yeah, I think it's worth when they do get the tickets, just to let them know that that's for the WeCycle, and they can give that to the people at the WeCycle tent just to keep from any confusion, like you said, across with the food.
When there's multiple vendors, would it be helpful if we wrote WeCycle on the ticket? Or is that too complicated?
The tickets, like what you see in the picture there, are only come from WeCycle. So there shouldn't be any other tickets from any other vendors that look like that.
Okay.
For Pet Pantry, they do have these like big pink slips. That one's pretty obvious. I think they should have like the cat and the dog on there. So the only data we do is for we don't waste when we cycle, and it's only just the raffle ticket for the baby supplies.
When they have more than one ticket, is it still just one formula for each one of those tickets?
So yeah, families, unfortunately, they have to be present for formula. So even if they have if they're picking up for multiple families and they're have multiple tickets that they bring to our table, we're only able to give them one formula. Yeah, that's a good question too. But that's something that WeCycle is happy to explain to families. So if they start questioning it too much, you can just let them know Oscar will answer their questions.
Not Emily.
No, go to Oscar.
Lucky Oscar. These are really good questions. What other questions do folks have?
Did it say that you could register a family without an email or phone number?
It did. That's a great one. So, this is like, well, it's right here. That's this. There's a toggle, no phone or email, but we have an actual slide on this too, so you can see. Did I miss it? Yeah, so there's whether they're a new visitor or a returning visitor, they may not have a phone number or an email, and you can toggle this way. So you'll see this is actually what I was thinking about. I was like, there's a better way to do this than what we're doing today. There's like a step-by-step quick reference guide that you'll see when you get to the market. And the first question we encourage volunteers to ask is this your first time at the market? Because that will signal to you whether you should be looking for a profile or adding a profile. If
Yeah.
it's somebody's first time at the market and they don't have a phone or an email, then you're going to look them up by their name. So they can still be in there.
Perfect. Thank you.
I was thinking, Catherine, it might be because I did that. Catherine is referring, the quick reference sheet is referring to the page that I emailed out to everyone. It's the Spanish English cheat sheet. So apparently Zoom lets multiple people share their screen right now. So I think it could be helpful, Catherine, if you leave the video up and we pull the cheat sheet up and we can kind of verbally walk through each step.
It's a great idea.
Let me see. Okay, so I'm sharing this. Can the Zoom attendees see both the plentiful sheet and the video?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet.
Just the video.
We
Oh,
can
you
see
just
the
the video?
I see the sheet, but not the video.
There's a tab on the top. One says Verona's We Don't Waste, and then also one says Catherine's, and you can toggle back and forth. But it doesn't look like it will let you do side by side.
I see. Well, I think it
Do
will
you want to share, Verona, and then we can walk through the step-by-step guide, and then we can come back and watch the video
that
again?
sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you all still see the plentiful We Don't Waste
You switch to the
Spanish
tab.
English cheat sheet? I see a
can
lot
see
of
the-
head nodding.
Yes.
Okay. So this cheat sheet is good for two different things. One thing it's good for is telling you, if you are an English speaker, exactly how to ask those questions that our devices are prompting you to ask. It tells you how to ask them in Spanish. The other thing it's good for is just kind of guiding you through our process step by step. One reason is because there are some questions in Plentiful in the app that you don't actually need to ask. So just holding this sheet with you is what a lot of volunteers do. And you only need to ask the questions that are on the sheet. If there's a question in the app that's not on the sheet, you can just leave it blank. So as Catherine mentioned, the first question on the cheat sheet is this your first time visiting the market? And that will just give you a clue. If they say, yes, it's my first time, then you know you're probably going to have to make them a whole new account. If they say, no, I've been here before, you'll want to type in their phone number and that will likely pull up their account, and then you just click on their account. So that's the first question to ask. And then, as Catherine mentioned, Plentiful, you can search people by name, first name, last name, or phone number, but we always just default to the phone number because it's the most unique piece of information. People have like similar last names or similar first names, so we really just direct volunteers to say the first question after have you been here before, is what's your phone number? And our market participants are very used to that being the first question that they're asked.
This is any market, not just that particular market at that particular location.
Correct. Yeah. Any market. So that's why, what is your phone number is the next question. Then what is your full name? What's your zip code? There are a couple more questions in Plentiful. You can enter date of birth and you can enter ID number, but we do not need that information. So you do not need to ask that. Those are just empty fields you'll see on the screen. And then the next question goes right into how many people are in the family. So you'll ask how many adults are in your family and how many children are in your family. And if anyone is above the age of 65, or how many people are above the age of 65. So you'll see 3 sections where you can plus or minus for the number of people in the family. You can add how many children, how many adults, how many people over 65. With that, for the adult section, it's asking you how many people are in the family in addition to the person registering on behalf of that family. So if the participant that you're checking in says we are 2 adults and 3 children, you only enter 1 adult and 3 children because the registrant is already counted. And then, so the questions on the left-hand side are questions you will ask at every market, in addition to the baby supply question. The baby supply question is over on the right side at the bottom. How many babies need diaper supplies? So it's important to ask this question in this way: how many children need baby supplies or diapers? Because sometimes they'll say I have 5 kids. So you can't necessarily assume that all 5 kids need diapers. You need to ask that clarifying question: how many of those children need diapers? And that's the number that goes on the ticket. So that's like what happens at every single market. We have 4 market locations. About half of our markets, we call them TFAP markets because we are part of, or they are registered as part of the TFAP program, which stands for the Emergency Food Assistance Program. It is a federal program. A lot of food banks around the country use it. It's great because they give us a lot of food. It's a little difficult because they require us to ask even more questions of our market participants, which just adds to this check-in process. So those first questions are what are going to happen at every single market, no matter what. The questions on the right-hand side are specifically for that TFAP program and only get asked if we are at a TFAP market, which are essentially our Tuesday markets. So those questions are a little bit more detailed. You need to ask their full address. You ask if they are a participant in any other government support programs. I forget how I usually word that. And then the next question involves their income. So, but this question is quite invasive, as I'm sure many of you can imagine. So we actually do not ask this question. If it brings you to the screen where someone it's asking you to ask them for their income, just put yes, they do make below that level and move on to the next screen. You don't even have to mention that screen exists to the participants. And it's not technically following the rules, but apparently the whole state of New Jersey does it that way. So we're gonna go with it. And that's what we've done for years as well. So that question is in there, but you do not need to ask it. We probably should just take it off of this cheat sheet because you will never need to ask it. And then, so yeah, those are the 3 TFAP specific questions. Address: do you receive any other government support programs like SNAP or WIC? And then you just put yes for the income question. And this is something that's a little bit different from We Don't Waste because as you may or may not already know, We Don't Waste being a nonprofit, and same with WeCycle, like we can make our own rules essentially for who can receive services from us, and we want to keep these markets as open and accessible as possible. So you don't need to qualify in any way to receive food or diapers and baby products from us. TFAP is a little different. They do have certain qualifiers, and that's where those like questions about do you receive other government support programs or is your income below this level? So if you already receive SNAP or WIC, you automatically qualify. And if your income is low enough, you qualify. So that's why those questions are there. We basically allow everybody to qualify, but we still need to show that data to TFAP to continue participating in the program and receiving that food. So that's kind of like our process that goes alongside with checking in a new participant or a returning participant. And maybe we can just watch the video one more time now that you have a little bit more context. I will stop sharing.
We also have the TFAP video to watch, and I feel like maybe we should do that one first and then go back to the other one.
Okay.
Since we've got TFAP fresh in our minds.
Right.
You're gonna see in the TFAP video this income question that Brona just talked to you about. We didn't write this question. We agree with the state of New Jersey. It's not appropriate to ask, don't do it. It's like a USDA thing. But you're going to see it, and obviously just do what Verona said. Just say yes to the question. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. I'm sorry you won't be able to hear the music, but here is our TFAP video. Great. I just want to point out, you can grab the a couple of things here. One is this is the important part of the TFAP process for you. So as the volunteer checking somebody in, clicking here to complete this TFAP attestation, this is what the state of Colorado needs to see. And then if somebody has already completed it, you will get this prompt asking if any information has changed. Usually the answer is no. So it's usually like a really quick one. And usually folks are already TFAP approved. All right, before I move back to the full video, any questions about TFAP?
Just want to add one thing. So, yeah, Catherine was saying that if someone has already answered these TFAB questions, they'll just need to verify that nothing has changed. And that's because you only need to prove your eligibility for TFAP once per year. So hopefully by the time you all are doing this process, most of the people have done it this year already, but that's why that pops up.
Yeah. Thanks, Brianna. Any other TFAP thoughts or questions? We're hoping I write letters to the USDA regularly to change the rules around TFAP. We're hoping this goes away. Just give people the food.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And that's also not a joke. They've gotten multiple letters from me. Because they did it during COVID and nobody had a problem with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions before we watch the full video again? Great. Let's go. great.
Thanks, Catherine.
Yeah. Happy to answer any more questions if folks have them. Karen, it looks like you're talking, but we can't hear you. Karen, did you have a question?
You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I clicked asked to unmute, but it's so I might be trying to. I think you might
There
have
should
to
be
put it
like
on
a
your-
microphone in the bottom left. You could always type it into chat too.
Oh, I think we can hear you now, Karen.
Well, I don't know what I did or didn't do. How often do they have these markets?
So we have them twice per week.
Oh,
Generally on Tuesdays and Fridays. We do one Saturday per month. The last
and where are they?
They're all over Denver, and we have one in Aurora. The last thing I was going to do is show you all where on our website you can find these volunteer shifts and sign up for them. And that information includes, or that on our website includes the location and the time for all of these markets. So I can jump into that now. And then the rest of the time will be for questions. So just give me a quick moment here. Okay, so I know a lot of you are familiar with We Don't Waste. I'm pulling up our website now. Can you all see the website? Cool. Okay, so I've opened up from the home screen. You can click on Get Involved and Volunteer. This page describes our volunteer opportunities and most importantly has our volunteer shift calendar.
I can tell you something.
So let's say you wanted to sign up for the market tomorrow. We have a market on October 11th. You would click volunteer Lalo Delgado Market. There's an extra step in here. It gives you some more information about the time, but really what you need to do is click here to sign up. And that brings you to a page of even more information, has the address, what partners we usually have there, and then at the bottom is where you can see the shifts for tomorrow. So at any of our mobile food market shifts, we always have a shift like the first one you see here, which says mobile food market volunteer open to anyone. That's just our general shift for anyone who wants to come help out. But I want to point out the other shift that we have, it's all at the same time and location, but it's called a Spanish speaking check-in volunteer shift. And that's the one you want to sign up for if you'd like to do check-in. So this is our project page for the market tomorrow. But if you want to see all of our markets, the project catalog is the best place to look. So we have a market at Bruce Randolph. We have La Alma Mobile Food Market, Lalo Delgado North Middle School, and all of those present in the same way. Just click learn more, and that's where you can see the location, what partners we have, and all of the upcoming shifts. And then you just, if you wanted to sign up for the Spanish speaking volunteer shift, just click volunteer. And I'm not logged in right now, so, but that's what the process that you would do. Does anyone have any questions about that part of it?
I did have a quick question. This is Brian Fun.
Sure.
So I'm going to be coming with a Spanish speaking exchange student to help volunteer with me.
Nice.
If he doesn't want to do the check-in, do you still have can he still utilize his Spanish speaking skills on the
Mhm.
line?
Definitely. Yeah. Essentially, because so many of our participants speak Spanish, anywhere you are helping, it's useful if you speak Spanish, but it's particularly helpful. One other role we have available is helping people shop with wagons, and that can be helpful for people who speak Spanish because you're just interacting more directly with our participants. So that's another role you could do, or just even like greeting people, directing them to where they need to go is very helpful.
So along that line, and I'll be nitpicky about it because I've been studying Spanish off and on for 30 years, but I've never gotten fluent with it. I can speak some Spanish and I have enough vocabulary to do the basics, and I can read some Spanish. But when a person is a Spanish speaker and responds to me in fluent Spanish, that's where I get hung up a lot of times, whether it's the accent or the topic or the context. So how much interaction as far as check-in, if they have questions, is there going to be somebody there that is more fluent in listening and helping us respond?
You want to answer that, Kim?
That's where I come in.
Okay, so you'll be there at the front, Kim?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. I just want to make sure there was some support. I don't want to hear the wrong thing, say something inappropriate just by my ignorance.
No, yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's where I come in. Yeah, that's when not just training check-in, but I stay right there in the front anyways. If any case, into a point where it does like the vocabulary gets too big and then they're like, oh, what did they say? And that's when I come in to help out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I just an experiment, I tried to check on volunteer opportunities yesterday, and I put in a month or so of on the calendar, and whatever I did, it would say there's nothing that matched. There were no matches. So I wonder what I did wrong.
Yeah. So I'll share my screen again because this is really just an issue with our website. I'll take you back to our website. So our volunteer opportunities page is great in that I love that it displays our volunteer shifts in a calendar format, but this calendar is really just a placeholder for taking you to our actual volunteer online sign up platform called Volunteer Matters. So if you click view calendar here,
Thank you.
You're gonna be taken to all of our events in one place, and it's far too confusing in my opinion. So the best way to look for all of the shifts is actually to use just this version of the calendar and scroll over at the top here if you want to look at other months. And then you can kind of click on the shifts here. Let's say you want to sign up for the grocery packing and sorting shift on December 5th. You'd want to click the link from this page and then click here to sign up.
Well, what I did was I clicked on a beginning date, and I think I did today's date. And then I clicked on an ending date and then tried to search.
Yeah.
And nothing came up.
That feature just doesn't work so well, unfortunately. Like right here, are you thinking like this? Basically, the features on our website calendar don't work super well. So as much as possible, I recommend navigating to, let's see here, navigating to our, of course, I can't get back to it now. Navigating, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Finding a shift you want to sign up, click here to sign up, and this will take you to our volunteer sign up portal. And the project catalog is the best place to see all of our shifts. It can be displayed in this calendar view, which is by opportunity, or sorry, in the catalog view or the calendar view this way. We're working on making this a more seamless process. Ideally, this calendar would just be embedded in our website, but our technology is not that sophisticated yet, but hopefully it will be coming soon.
Does it matter what browser you're using?
It does not.
Okay, because I use Firefox.
Okay. And yeah, Dick, we can chat further over the phone if this is still an unclear process. I do that many times with volunteers just because it can be difficult to figure out initially what's the best, most direct way to sign up for shifts, but I promise it gets easier once you're more familiar with it.
Okay.
This is Brian again. I have one last question. What is the length of the time for these volunteer shifts on the weekends?
Yeah, the Saturday market, it's always going to be the Saturday following the third Friday of the month. It's at North Middle School in Aurora, and that shift is from 12:15 to 3:30.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
And do you recommend volunteers to get there early, or
No, thank you for
is that the
asking
time
that.
that the market opens?
The market is open from 1 to 3. So we build in setup and orientation time, and we build in cleanup time. And that's a good question, Brian, because we are doing this training right now so that you all can become more familiar with the check-in process, but we always have time for additional training and to go over this process and to practice it before the market starts. That's already built into the volunteer shift. So there's no need to feel like you've already mastered it. It is a lot easier once you get an opportunity to practice it, which we can do on site at the start of any volunteer shift. So we just kind of wanted to give you an introduction, but there's lots more time for learning. Does anyone else have any questions? I realized at the beginning I totally skipped over the part that where you all were supposed to tell us about yourselves, and I'm really sorry. But and now we're almost out of time. So if anyone wants to stay on and chat, we're happy to, but we appreciate you all. And yeah, just really thank you for coming. This is easily one of the most important parts of our markets is like, can we greet and get market participant registered effectively in a way that makes them feel comfortable in that they're able to communicate in their own language. So we just are really excited to be onboarding some more volunteers who are willing to give Spanish a shot. And yeah, happy to answer any other questions for anyone else that wants to stay on, or else we'll see you soon.
Thanks
Do you
very much.
always have enough food for everybody?
95% of the time, yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks, you guys. It's great.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm excited to volunteer soon.
Great.
We're excited too. Look forward to it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You
You
too.
too. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
How'd that go?
Jay, you have a question?
Yeah, I didn't want to ask it when everybody else was around, but has there ever been any consideration of making a Spanish version of Plentiful
We
that you
have
could?
one that we're getting ready to release.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Thank you for asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't promise it'll be out by the time you start volunteering, but it's important.
And Jay, we can just find a cool workaround. In the meantime, if you download Chrome on our phones and we open Plentiful in Chrome, it can automatically translate the page. So we can start doing that as soon as tomorrow, which I think will be really helpful. Were you thinking, Jay, so that you could just essentially pass the phone to a participant and they can check in themselves?
Well, I mean, it does seem like it would make more sense rather than me trying to say the words in Spanish if they just look at it and, oh, okay.
Yeah,
and just be there to assist.
definitely. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that as a non-Spanish speaker, basically, I would take the form that you attached to the email, Verona,
Mm-hmm.
and make that very large and could just point, and they would read it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, rather than hearing me butcher the Spanish language.
No, I think that's very fair, Jay, and kind of going back to the piece of language justice, like we want to be able to provide someone that can communicate even in a basic way with the person they're checking in to make them feel like welcome. And if they have questions about the market, if it's like their first time, you can kind of give them an orientation. Like there's limit signs on the table, so just keep an eye out for those. There's the food first and then the diapers. So I totally want to engage volunteers who are interested in doing this, even with limited Spanish. I think that's a great tool for that, but we want to have, if anything, a mix of Spanish speakers and non-Spanish speakers, so that people who don't speak any English can still ask the questions they need to and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, based on what you said is entirely reasonable. And based on that, I could never be that person then, because I could never interact with them.
But I think you could be the other person who is working next to a fluent Spanish speaker and just like doing more of the, if we write down, how you can say, please fill out all these questions and you pass the device over to them, that is also extremely useful because, as you know, there are some markets that are just massive and we need to get through the line as fast as possible. And so that's exactly why we're having these trainings, because we need more volunteers to be able to help us with this process. So it is still going to be useful to have folks like you involved if you're willing to give it a try.
Yeah, well, I think it would be an interesting challenge to try and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it would be very valuable at the market.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was a good turnout.
Yes.
Yes.
Put Jay in the waiting room. It's so funny to be the host. I'm not usually the host. You have all these controls.
I thought you said that. Hilarious. Like, see ya.
That's funny. You can mute people. But I think that went really well. Thank you guys. What do you think?
I think it went well.
Yeah.
Especially for it being remote.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it like 15 minutes before and was like, oh, I would do this a little bit differently, but time to I was like, let's create slides.
What would you do differently?
I think you're breaking up. Shoot.
I was watching the video and I just had to listen to it over.
I don't think we caught any of that, Catherine, unfortunately. I'm sure we'll chat another time.
Yeah.
Same. I don't know why my internet's unstable. I don't know what's wrong. Something's up with the internet here.
Okay. Okay, we'll talk next week. We'll love to debrief it a little more because I'm sure we'd like to do more trainings in the future. So, but it's late and I'm sure we'll see you all very soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.